So welcome everyone. Welcome to learn automation testing step by step by using Telerik Test Studio. So in this complete step by step video series, we will try to become an automation tester by using Telerik Test Studio. But before even I move ahead and I talk about automation testing, let us first try to define automation testing. So if you put in one simple sentence, automation testing is nothing but it's a process which helps us to execute test cases without any human intervention or without any human involvement. Now, what that means is that if you want to execute a test case automatically, you need some kind of a software, some kind of a test software which can record test actions and can play these test actions automatically. Now, these test actions can be mouse clicks, it can be keyboard press, it can be tab press, it can be function keys, whatever it is, right? So basically the process would be that the tester will open up the software, he will go and record the actions of the test cases, and later he will go and play these recorded actions using the software. So the first step is to select a proper test software. Now this test software should have the capability of recording the test cases and playing these test cases in automated manner. Now for this tutorial or for this video series, we have chosen Telerik Test Studio. Now I do understand that there can be many questions, why not QTP, why not coded UI test, why not this and why not that, right? And with due respect to all other softwares, after a lot of assessment and comparison we did internally in QuestPond, we found Telerik Test Studio as a better choice. And in case you want those assessment and comparison sheet, please email us at questpond@questpond.com. So at this moment, this video tutorial series is going to use Telerik Test Studio. So I do understand the concerns, if you are thinking that why not using QTP, why not using coded UI test, but at this moment we are restricted to Telerik Test Studio. Now, at the end of the day, test cases are scenarios. Now scenarios can be a login screen, it can be a user registration page, it can be a shopping screen, it can be some kind of a scenario which the user does with the website. The best way to learn automation testing is taking a scenario and recording a test case for that scenario. And in this complete tutorial, we are going to take the same approach. So we'll take a scenario and then we'll record test cases against those scenarios. So here is the first scenario before you, the login screen. So you can see that on the screen, on the video screen, we have a very simple login screen. So what we'll do is we'll take the scenario of the simple login screen and we'll record automation testing on this screen. So let me first explain the login case scenario here. So you can see that this login screen has two text boxes here, username and password. So the end user comes in, he puts in a proper username and password. At this moment, the proper username and password is Shiv and Shiv. I do understand your concerns that you should see a star here, some kind of a masking in the password text box, but leave it at this moment. We are concentrating more on the testing part, right? So if you put the proper username and password, like for example, in this case, the proper username is Shiv and the proper password is Shiv. And if you press this login, he sees a proper user text on the screen. But if he goes and puts some wrong username and password, and if he clicks login, he gets here something called as wrong credentials. So very, very simple scenario here. If the user puts a proper username and password, he sees the text as proper user. Any kind of wrong password, he sees that wrong credentials. So now let us see that how we can go and record a test case by using Telerik Test Studio on this scenario. So the first thing is we need to go and download the Telerik Test Studio and install it in our computer. So just go to google.com. So say google.com and search for Telerik Test Studio, right? And you can see that there's a URL here saying www.telerik.com/teststudio, and you can see that there is a link here saying download free trial. So go to this free trial here and download the software. It's a 30 days free trial, and in 30 days you can easily learn Telerik Test Studio, right? So first thing is go and download this tool from here and install it. Now once you install it in your program files, you should get the Telerik Test Studio here. So if you go to your program files, you should get Telerik, and you can see that there is something called as a Test Studio, and you can see that there is a menu here saying Launch Test Studio. So click on this. So you can see that there it is opening. So the first thing you can see that there is a menu here saying create project. So I'm going to go and create project here. Let us say test login screen, and let us say okay. Now using Test Studio, you can do various kinds of test recording. So for example, if you have a website, you can use a web test. If you have a WPF application, you can use a WPF test. If you want to really go manually, you can do a manual test, and so on, right? But at this moment, definitely we have a website. So let us click on this web test here, right? So once you click on web test, he opens up this section here, and inside this section, when you do the recordings, you will see all your recording steps. So I'm going to go and copy my website URL. So I'm going to go and copy this. At this moment, my website is running locally, and I will say, okay, record. So he says that record by using what? So I'll say record by using Chrome. So I'm going to go and click on this. So you can see that he starts up the screen here saying Test Studio Recorder. And if you just go and see down below, you can see the Test Studio Recorder here. You can see there's a Test Studio Recorder here with the record menu and everything, right? So the first thing is I'm going to go and paste my URL here, because the first step what I want him to record is to go and open up my URL inside the browser, right? So if you really look at the test case steps, the first thing is you go ahead and you pull up the page. After that, you put the username. After that, you put up the password and etc. Right? So the first step is he has to pull up this URL. So I'm going to go and copy the URL inside this Test Studio Recorder here. You can see, and I'm going to go and press enter. Right? So there it is. You can see my site is opening. Now, once I have pressed enter inside the Test Studio Recorder by putting the URL, you can see that he starts showing me those steps which are recorded at the left hand side here inside the web test section. So you can see that he said that the current action what you did is you went ahead and you put the URL and you have navigated to the URL. So now the next step is we need to go and put the username here. So I'll say here Shiv, right? And I will do a tab, right? So you can see here the time I put Shiv here, it is seen here in the left hand side recording. That is good. Again, I'll put Shiv here, right? And after that, I will go and click on the login screen, right? So you can see that the click button once submit has also been recorded. So navigate to the URL, enter Shiv into the username, enter Shiv into the password, and click on the submit button. So you can see that our recordings have been recorded in a proper manner. That is very nice. The next thing what we would like to do is we would like to go and say that in what scenarios this test case passes. So in other words, we have to give some assertions, right? So you can see down below here there is a highlight elements. So at this moment my test case passes when I see this word proper user. So I'm going to go here very quickly and select the proper user, and I will say verify the text content. Verify that I see this word proper user, right? Let me go and close this. Let me just check. So you can see that the fifth step here is verify the text contains proper user. So that is right. So you can so let's go and just see that if our test case has been recorded properly. So first the user goes to the login screen, that is right, enters the username Shiv, enters the password, clicks the submit button, and then checks if the word proper user is seen inside the HTML or not. So looks to me like our test case has been recorded properly. So now the next thing is we would like to go and run the test case, right? So I'm going to go and click on start here, and I'm going to go and run all these steps inside Google Chrome. So let me go and click on Google Chrome and remove my mouse. So he says that, okay, you have made some changes. Do you want to save? Yes, I want to save before I run the test case. Now you can see at the back end, he starts the test runner, the Test Studio test runner, who actually sends out the keys, etc. So you can see now he has opened up the browser. The first thing is he goes, navigates, puts the username, puts the password, done, great. This is done and the test case has passed. Great, right? But now let us go and put some different data. Okay, let us say that at this moment we are entering Shiv into the username. How about going and saying that let's not enter Shiv, let's enter Shiv1. So in case you want to go and change the data what is provided to the username and the password text box, what you can do is you can just double click here and you can go and change the text content. So I'll say here this is, let's say, Shiv1, right? And let's say this is also Shiv1. Okay, so in this case what will happen? The my test case will fail because the username and password is only valid for the word Shiv. Okay, so I'm going to go here, start, and I'm going to go and run the Chrome again, and this time I should see that my test case fails because in the test content he will not get this word proper user. So let us see. So there you can see my screen is running. He starts navigating to my URL, very nice, and he sees the wrong credentials. So you can see now very quickly down below, if you see here, he's trying to verify the proper user text, but at this moment we don't have any kind of proper user text here. So what will happen is after a certain time the test case will give up and he will say that I did not find the word proper user and this test case will fail. So let us wait for some time. So there is a timeout, and after the timeout the test case fails. So you can see that he has given up trying for the text content, proper user, and you can see that he has failed this test case, right? So this was a very, very simple scenario, login screen scenario, and we have kept it simple because this is the first automation test you are recording, so we don't want to put you in complexity at this moment. And I hope that this will give you a very nice base for the coming up complex scenarios. Now the next scenario, that is scenario number 2, is login screen with a delay. So that's a bit of a complex scenario. So in the next scenario we're going to see login screen with a delay. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. So let us go scenario recording, and I'm sure that you will become an automation tester. Thank you very much.